Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, ES held above the aggressive support areas and then continued to make a new all-time high. So right now the short-term bias is bullish above 48 quarter to 50 quarter. We don't have anything on the econ calendar, but today is options expiration and quadruple witching, which typically results in some directional movement, but with some volatility. So, given the overall bullish context, as long as we hold above 48 quarter to 50 quarter, we can continue printing new highs. And in the event that we break below 48 quarter to 50 quarter, it doesn't mean that now the market is bearish, but it does tell you that short term, there's some more than expected profit taking coming into the market, and you would just have to be a bit more cautious on the long side. And depending on how we break below 48 quarter to 50 quarter, if we even do that, then that could even set up some potential short trades. But as long as we hold above this micro bull bear zone on the day time frame, we should be looking at a continuation to some higher prices. And since ES is making fresh all-time highs, there is no hard resistance at this point, right? So on the upside, we have some resistance zones based on volatility and some range extension targets at 56 quarter to 58 quarter, followed by 61.75 to 63.75. But neither one of these areas has to technically shut off the buying. Where ES stops is really going to depend on volume and just where it runs out of steam and short-term momentum and starts balancing. But there's no actual resistance above. So these are just some reference points that can help us take profit on the long side, but we're not looking to fade at these resistance areas above. So right now, with ES making new all-time highs, the bias is bullish, and we will focus more on buying pullbacks into support or even some intraday support. So very similar to yesterday. As far as the other markets goes, in NQ, we wanted to see it hold above 83 to 89 in the overnight session. It did that, and now it's heading back up towards the highs. In TF, we wanted to see it hold above 73 to 75, and the overnight low was around 76.5 in TF, and it continues to push up towards the highs. So we do want to see these other markets participating in the upside and making a new swing high as well. Yesterday one of the red flags was the relative weakness in NQ and TF, and that helped us time our long setup on the pullback into support, and it helped us figure out where we wanted to be aggressive versus conservative on the long side. So that same idea applies today. We do want to see these other markets just continuing higher as well, following ES to a new swing high. And if they fail to make a new high, or they start pulling back into some deeper support zones, then that would be a red flag for the S&P as well, and it could limit the upside. It doesn't mean that ES technically has to reverse, but it could certainly limit the upside in the S&P. So for today, let's just keep the options expiration in mind, quadruple witching, and just be a little more selective on the trade setups. Again, if you look back at historical charts for options expiration and quad witching, you'll see that on most days there is actually a directional bias and a directional conviction. Right now that happens to be to the upside, but if that reverses and we break the micro bull bear, then that conviction could actually reverse as well, and we could get a deeper pullback. So it's important to figure out what the directional bias is early in the session, and then limit your trades, to that direction, and just be selective, pick your spots, trade at the zones, but then focus on trading in that direction. So right now, as long as we hold above the micro bull bear zone, the focus is going to be trading on the long side, not looking to short this market until we see some real weakness, right? And until then, you're still going to get more edge on buying pullbacks into support. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if we do even get a pullback. That gives us a decent opportunity to trade on the long side. Aside from that, I hope everyone had a good week, and good luck today.